When you're too tired to think, everything feels heavier than it should. Even small decisions feel like lifting something you no longer have the strength to carry. The day doesn't end cleanly. It just fades, leaving pieces behind that follow you into the night. Your thoughts don't form clearly. They blur at the edges. You try to follow one idea, but it slips away before you can finish it. Another thought takes its place, and then another, until none of them feel complete. There was once a small room at the edge of a quiet town. Nothing special about it. A single window, a simple chair, and a soft light that never grew too bright. People would find themselves there without remembering how they arrived, not because they were lost, but because they had reached the point where thinking felt like too much. The room did not ask questions. It did not offer solutions. It did not require anyone to explain why they were tired or what they had been carrying all day. It simply existed. The chair by the window was always empty until someone needed it. And when they sat down, the room did not change. It did not adjust itself to comfort them. It stayed steady, as if steadiness were enough. Outside the window, the night moved slowly. No traffic, no sudden noise, just distant shapes settling into darkness. The world did not demand attention from that place. Inside, the air felt balanced, not warm and not cold, just quiet enough that breathing felt natural again. When someone sat there long enough, they noticed something unusual. Their thoughts did not need to finish themselves. Half-formed worries could dissolve without being completed. Nothing in the room demanded clarity. Nothing required resolution. You didn't have to understand the day. You didn't have to replay conversations or prepare for tomorrow. You could let unfinished thoughts remain unfinished. Sometimes, the person in the chair would try to think anyway. Habit is strong. The mind wants to solve, to organize, to predict what might happen next. But the room had no surface for thoughts to land on. They would arrive, pause briefly, and then fade like breath on glass. There was no echo, no reaction, no pressure to continue. The light in the corner never flickered. It was soft enough that it didn't demand attention, but steady enough that nothing felt uncertain. It did not brighten when someone struggled, and it did not dim when someone relaxed. If someone closed their eyes, the room remained. If they opened them again, nothing had shifted. There was no expectation that they would feel better. Time behaved differently there. Minutes were not counted. There was no progress to measure and no improvement to track. You could sit without improving. You could exist without evaluating yourself. At first, the tiredness might feel sharper in the silence. Without distractions, the weight of the day can feel more visible. But the room did not try to take that weight away. It simply made space around it. And slowly, without noticing exactly when it happened, the tightness around thinking would ease. Not disappear and not solve itself. Just loosen. Like a tight grip that finally relaxes because there is nothing left to hold. Like shoulders lowering without being told to. The person in the chair might look out the window again. The night would still be there. Unchanged and patient. Nothing dramatic would have happened. Yet something subtle would feel different. The mind would not be sharp, but it would be quieter. Not empty, just less crowded. When the person eventually stood up, the room did not follow. It did not cling to them or ask to be remembered. It remained where it was, quiet and available for the next time thinking felt too heavy. Some nights, you may feel like you are carrying too many unfinished thoughts, too many small pieces that never had time to settle. You might feel behind, even when no one is counting. You don't have to force them into order. You don't have to line them up and make sense of them before you rest. When you're too tired to think, it doesn't mean you are failing. It might simply mean your mind has been working longer than it needed to. The small room at the edge of the quiet town is not somewhere you have to travel to. It isn't far away. It appears the moment you stop trying to finish every thought. It appears when you allow a sentence in your head to remain incomplete. When you decide that clarity can wait until morning. You don't have to shut your mind down. You don't have to control it. You can let it move slowly, without direction. The calm way is a place like that room. Nothing here asks you to be sharp. Nothing here needs you to understand everything before you close your eyes. If your thoughts feel heavy tonight, you don't have to carry them all the way to the end. You can set them down halfway. You can leave them where they are. They will still be there tomorrow, if they need to be. For now, you can sit in the quiet. You can let the edges of your thinking soften. You can allow the unfinished to remain unfinished. And you can rest.